trail, at least for today. Greetings from the Joe Lott Trail at Fremont Indian State Park in Sevier, Utah.
This trail runs along Joe Lott Creek. It's named for one of the original settlers here, Joe Lott. It starts in the state park and then it goes into the Fishlake National Forest. And in fact, if you look it up, some of the hiking apps listed as Joe Lott Trail and some of the hiking apps listed as Forest Service Trail 51. So depending on what app you have, you may find it to be a little bit different. But it has been a great day hike for us here, and we're excited to take you along, show you what we found. One of the things we've been noticing on this hike, when you do a hike like this in Utah where the elevation changes, as the elevation changes, the landscape changes around you. The trees change, the bushes change. We're at about 7,500 feet now. We started closer to around 6,000 at the bottom of this where the trailhead is. So it's just really interesting to see the change.
Well, and you don't realize it's changed until you get into it a little way and you go, wait, just a minute ago there was red rocks. Now there's birch trees. And in a minute there'll be something else totally different altogether.
Another great thing about hiking at elevation is the views that you get.
Ta-da!
So it's always important, and we've discovered kind of the hard way a little bit, or by accident, is as you're hiking along, make sure you stop and turn around every so often.
Yeah, you never know what's behind you. I mean, there's cool things in front of you, but when you turn around and you realize there's this huge vista with mountains and these like ginormous, super tall pine trees, it's so impressive. It's just a wow moment.
It is. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, this is what I meant earlier when I'm like, a minute ago we were hiking through aspen trees and now we're in Mars, apparently. And the remnants of I probably can't really see it, but the remnants of an old barbed wire fence up here that apparently, I don't know, kept cattle in or out. Not really sure. But we're a long way up. So somebody had to make this fence a long way up. I just wanted to take some video of the really pretty mountains. Kind of reminds me of The Sound of Music, but there's no music. There's just the water and the birds chirping and everything else is really quiet, but it's really pretty.
I was going to say, one of the things about this hike is it can get really quiet up here. You do hear birds and there's some wind occasionally. And the creek, Joe Lott Creek, is actually really loud. It's not that big of a creek.
No, it's really tiny.
When you're right next to it, like we filmed the ending right next to it, but it was super loud and we're not going to do much filming and talking near the creek because it's so loud. But it's funny how much that creek makes noise through here. It's never absolutely quiet here.
No, but isn't this just pretty? It's just pretty. Another cool thing that we find on hikes, and I always enjoy looking for, is all the wildflowers, especially this time of year when they're just starting to come out. Case in point. See these little pretty red flowers? Ooh. Actually, they're kind of orange.
Hiking at higher elevations in Utah, a cactus isn't something you might expect to see, but you do see them periodically up here, and they're scattered throughout this whole area, and it's because this is actually known as high desert. I think it's the eastern end of the Mojave is what it's part of, which I didn't know until we got here, but that also explains the easily 30-degree plus temperature swings we get here every day, pretty much between the daytime highs and the nighttime lows. What were you just saying? You don't remember those white flowers?
No.
Did they sprout?
I'm pretty sure those white flowers sprouted in like the hour that we walked through here because I do not remember walking through flowers on the other pass by here. Also, peanut butter sandwich on the trail, you know, always a good lunch.
Crunchy peanut butter. Team Crunchy for the win.
Not my favorite, but it does work. It suffices. But there's no honey on it either, so it's really missing a couple key. It has an extra ingredient and it's missing an ingredient, but you know, I'll eat it. I like the pretty purple flowers.
Our hike back is going to take a lot longer than our hike in.
Yep.
Because I'm like,
let's stop and smell the roses.
Let's shoot video on the way out. And that's turned into, let's shoot every new type of flower you come upon.
They're pretty. What can I say?
So we're in a different section again. And I wanted to thank you for almost falling on cue. Because I was going to turn on the camera and start shooting this and do a stop here and say, this is like a brown dirt and some rock, and it's really loose here. And as I turned the camera on, you kind of lost your footing. So
good. I'm glad I could help out there. I didn't know you were filming.
I appreciate that. But yeah, this is another whole different section, and we're headed down now because this is the way back from the end of the trail we got to for today because we're shooting on the way out. And we're heading more down where we're going to end up in the forest.
But there's really, forest. I mean, there's not much of a trail here. I mean, we're really literally on the edge here. So a good hiking pole and sturdy shoes is a must because you do need to watch your balance around here.
Yeah, I always hike with a pole. You don't always, but you got it at one point to cross the creek here.
And I haven't put it back.
And you kept it.
Yeah. Once we really started climbing, we got more to the rock. I don't do it so much in the woods. I don't need it, but the up here where it's a little more slippery and the rocks are kind of not stable, it does come in handy.
And I actually feel like I'm starting to slide a little, so...
Yeah, we might want to get moving.
We'll stop this for now and move along. We're crossing the creek again. Joe Lott Creek on Joe Lott Trail. Makes sense.
There are a lot of water crossings on this trail. They're not bad. So far, you're not going to get your feet wet. I can see at different times of the year you might. Earlier in the spring, possibly. Later in the summer, probably not. It's probably going to lower a little bit. Maybe we've gotten like a hair of our shoes wet, but it's not like you're wading through the creek by any means.
No, but I would recommend hiking pole again is helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you have, if you have great balance like her, maybe not as much of an issue. I don't have great balance, so I can't do that. But I have waterproof hiking boots on, so I tend to splash through a little bit more. Well,
and we've jumped a couple of them. They've been narrow enough in some instances, and in other places there's, pretty good sized logs that you can climb across. So far so good, but we'll knock on wood here just in case until we get all the way back and see whether we still have dry feet or not.
Yeah. All right. You can go first.
All right, we're gonna
need the pole. Well, yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna trade poles here.
You just jump it.
Water crossing number 2. I should have videoed that because he cheated. He just stepped over the creek, went from rock to rock. I see how it is. It's kind of like sticking your hand in a bowl of ice. It's coming off the mountains where there's snow was still, the snow melts off, and it is very, very cold. But it is really clear and pretty. I used both hiking poles when I went across before. So
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We used both.
Yeah, sure. I'll film while I go across. This will be interesting. Wah, wah, 1 foot fell in the creek. We'll see how waterproof my shoes actually are. Oh, we're filming each other. That's fun.
In your defense, that seems higher on the way down than it was on the way up.
It seems higher?
Like there's more water to get through.
I don't know, it was weird. And I think I just thought the stick was deeper than I thought. I don't know. Either there's more water or I'm not sure, but I fell in.
But I noticed like putting the hiking sticks down in the water, like
it was further down.
The current was stronger.
Oh, maybe it could be. The way it's been sunny today, if we've had more snow melt up in the mountains. I also accidentally grabbed a bush that was a pricker bush and that hurt. I have a boo-boo.
A few weeks back on a hike, I fell and caught myself on a cactus.
That was not smart. I mean,
I don't recommend it.
Don't make that close of friends with a cactus.
No hugging the cactus. That should be on the signs out front. We've now entered another zone on this hike.
We've been to the twilight zone. Oh wait, no.
This is the full-on forest zone. This is the area we commented on the way up. Like we almost felt like we were back in Michigan.
Yeah, we started the day in Utah, ended up in the UP, then ended up back in Utah, and now we're back in the UP again.
Yeah. As you're walking through here, it does feel a lot like the Upper Peninsula, except for the elevation changes.
Yeah, we don't, even in the Porkies, we don't go up that high, so
No.
It's a little bit different, and we don't have that different of ecology changes, but yeah, this is really foresty feeling in here. It's not at all what I was expecting on this trail.
Yeah, you commented on the way up. You're like, wait, all of a sudden you stopped. And that's one of those things where you said at one point, you were like, you don't realize that things are changing as you're hiking until all of a sudden you stop for some reason, you realize you're in a different zone, and that this was one of them.
Again, very pretty. Creek crossing number 4. This is 4. This is the most challenging one for me because I cannot jump that. The log is not in the way. There's a little section over there that I did jump at the first go, so let's hope that I can make it on the way back. You make that look so easy.
But, you know, I'm like, what, a foot taller than you?
Number 5.
Tell me the water's higher now.
I swear it is.
Okay, see, I was right. The water is higher on the way back.
I'd have to look at pictures to see if that tree was underwater before, but I feel like it's faster.
Cobalt? That's javelin.
Creek crossing number 6.
I feel like we're on Sesame Street, not the Joe Lott Trail.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letters
W for wet.
Yeah.
F for foot.
And J for jumping across the creek multiple times.
You're big on selfies anyway, but this creek has provided some great backdrops.
Yes, and especially with that cool mountain behind it, with the sun shining on it, and in portrait mode, that was a good selfie. This is creek crossing number 7, or 1 if you're starting at the beginning, or actually number 14 for us because we've now done all of them twice.
This is an easy one.
This is very much an easy one because look, somebody actually built a bridge. So it tricks you because this is the first one you come to and you're like, this is going to be easy. And then you don't realize there's 6 more to come that you actually have to jump, cross, and hopefully try not to get your feet too wet.
You were showing off on that one. I was waiting for you to fall. And yet another different section of the trail. Rocks, canyon walls, scrub brush, sage, rocky trail.
This is more like Utah.
I've lost track of the number. We'll have to look at the video, how many times we've talked about how things changed. It's pretty cool. It's a good hike if you like that kind of thing.
Well, this is cool because now we're kind of more out in the open again. So now you can see the big rocks up here, whereas once we got in the woods, you were just surrounded by trees.
Well done, Utah. We're at the end, or the beginning.
the beginning of the end. It's
We ended up hiking the Joe Lott Trail, and then we shot video on the way back because we didn't know what we were going to find, and we just kind of wanted to see what was out there, but we decided it was worth sharing with everybody, so we shot video on the way back. We did about 4 hours, about 6 miles.
No, it was 4 hours and 40 minutes, so it was closer to 5 hours.
About 5 hours, about 6 miles.
A little over 6 miles.
About 7 creek crossings.
Definitely 7 creek crossings, which actually was 14 because you have to cross each one twice.
2 random rain showers.
Yes.
Not really rain showers. It sort of started
Sprinkles.
to rain, it sprinkled, and then it stopped, and we had blue skies the whole time, so go figure. But all in all, it was a great trail, I thought. But what else?
I'm going to do the obligatory bring lots of water, bring your sunscreen, bring your hat, bring your sunglasses, because this is Utah. And I think as we have alluded to, it gets really hot in the daytime and really cold at night. So depending on what time of year and when you're out here, you're going to want layers. If you're hiking this first thing in the morning or late in the evening, you're definitely going to want long sleeves, long pants. If you're out here in the middle of the day, t-shirts, shorts, capris, hiking pants are fine. But just make sure you have layers and make sure you have sunscreen if you're wearing short sleeves, because that sun does get hot and it will burn you. We talked about the hiking pole. Make sure you have that, and just plenty of water, because this is high elevation and you will get dehydrated and wear out very quickly.
As far as getting here, the trailhead for Joe Lott is actually at the back of the Castle Rock campground at Fremont Indian State Park. So if you're camping here, great rustic campground. You could stay here and then head out. This is your base camp, head out for hikes. That would be fun. I think that would be a great way to do that. Or the Sam Stowe campground is just a few miles down the road. That's where we are camp hosts this year. So that'd be another place to do that. If you have to drive in, though, and you're not camping here, there is an overflow parking lot near the beginning of the campground. It's a $10 day use fee if you're not camping. Now, if you're camping here at Castle Rock or you're camping at Sam Stowe, you can get a permit and you don't have to pay extra for camping in or for parking over here, and then you can do the hike.
And even though this is a rustic campground, there are flush toilets here at the campground, and there's vault toilets. So before, and the vault toilets are actually really nice. They're very clean, and they're right next to the trailhead. So if you're, depending on where you're coming from and you're parking here, you've got an opportunity to use the bathroom before you hit the trails. Otherwise, make sure you bring your supplies if you do have to use the restroom on the trail. But pack in, pack out. So always make sure if you have your toilet paper, you bring your toilet paper back out with you in a Ziploc baggie, because there's nothing out there. Watch for snakes. There are rattlesnakes around here. There's gopher snakes. There's little tiny snakes. The only thing we saw today was little teeny tiny snake. I don't know what he is, but he's harmless.
You shot a video on your phone. He looks huge.
He looks huge in the video, but he's like teeny tiny. He's like smaller than my shoelace.
There's actually all kinds of wildlife here, they say.
They say. We saw none of it, so I think they lied.
But there's supposedly, there's, throughout this area, there are elk, there's deer, there's supposedly bear, coyotes.
Wild cows.
What? Free-range cows. They're not wild. They're free-range cows that they put up on the mountain for grazing in the summer. So you never know what you might see. We saw droppings of the cows.
Yeah, and some other scat up there. The elk, there are elk and things that come through. So you may, depending on time of year, time of day, you never know what you're going to see. But really nice trail. The water is gorgeous right now just because it's a snow melt, so it's pretty high flowing. But nothing that you obviously can't cross, because again, we did it 14 times today.
Make sure, because there's a lot of trails at Fremont Indian State Park where you can see the rock art, that kind of thing. But if you have a chance and you can get out for the day, head on up Joe Lott Trail. I think it was a great one to do. 2 campgrounds here that make it conveniently located if you want to camp and get out here and hike. It's raining again. That makes 3 rain showers.
And the sun is still shining.
So go figure. Be prepared. It's Utah. I don't even know what I was saying now. Oh,
come camp and come hike.
Come camp, camp hike, come camp hike. Camp hike.
Camp hike, go.
Hike, camp, go.
Oh, hike, camp, go. I don't even know my own saying.
I think the high elevation has cost us brain cells today. But we're going to go recover. And in the meantime, keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there.
Hiking in Utah at higher elevations, you might not expect to see cactus, but you do see them periodically here and there. And I hit the tree.
One of the other fun things about hiking through elevation and just going for hikes in general is all of the pretty we're going to do that again. That'll be a nice blooper reel. And why am I crooked? What is going on here?